At 79 years old, Hayley Mills has finally broken her silence about what it was really like working with the fiery Maureen O'Hara. For decades, fans of The Parent Trap have wondered what went on behind the scenes between the shy teenage star and the legendary Irish actress who played her mother. Now, Mills has decided to tell the truth, revealing a side of O'Hara that the world never saw. Hayley Mills' story began long before she ever stepped in front of a camera. Born on April 18, 1946 in London, she was destined for a life in the arts. Her father, Sir John Mills, was one of Britain's most respected actors, remembered for his unforgettable roles in Great Expectations and Ryan's Daughter. Her mother, Mary Hayley Bell, was a gifted playwright and novelist whose creativity and imagination filled their home. Growing up in such a dynamic environment, Hayley was surrounded by scripts, rehearsals, and performances. Storytelling wasn't just something she observed, it was a way of life. The Mills household was a blend of artistic discipline and open imagination, where creativity was both nurtured and expected. Even as a young girl, Hayley absorbed the world of performance through osmosis. She watched her father transform into characters with conviction, and her mother build worlds with words. These early experiences would prove invaluable, giving her an instinctive understanding of acting's emotional truth. By the time she was a teenager, Hayley's destiny seemed written. She had inherited not only her parents' talent, but also their humility, work ethic, and reverence for the craft. Her upbringing didn't just prepare her for fame, it gave her the foundation to handle it with grace. From this artistic lineage, a young girl was about to step out of her parents' shadow and become one of the brightest stars of her generation. Hayley's journey to stardom began almost by accident, but it was a moment that would change her life forever. At just 12 years old, she made her screen debut in the 1959 British crime drama Tiger Bay, acting opposite her father, Sir John Mills. What was meant to be a small opportunity to gain experience quickly became a career-defining breakthrough. From the very first scene, audiences and critics alike noticed something special. Hayley's performance carried an emotional honesty that seemed years beyond her age. She didn't act like a child pretending. She was the character, fully believable, natural, and heartbreakingly real. Her quiet charisma and expressive eyes gave her an authenticity that was rare even among seasoned actors. The film's success didn't just impress British audiences, it reached across the Atlantic, catching the attention of none other than Walt Disney himself. Disney saw in Hayley a rare quality that perfectly matched his vision of innocence, curiosity, and heartfelt storytelling. He immediately arranged for her to come to Hollywood, convinced that she was destined to become the new face of Disney's family films. For Hayley, this was the beginning of a remarkable adventure, one that would take her from the streets of London to the global stage. What started as a small role alongside her father had opened the door to an extraordinary destiny, one where she would soon become one of the most beloved child stars in the world. When Hayley Mills arrived at Walt Disney Studios, she had no idea she was about to make history. Her first project with the studio, Pollyanna, 1960, would not only introduce her to American audiences, but also turn her into an international sensation. In Pollyanna, she played the optimistic orphan whose infectious cheer brightens the lives of everyone around her. It was a role that fit Hayley perfectly. Her genuine warmth and natural charm made the character feel real, not performed. Audiences instantly fell in love with her smile, her innocence, and her ability to make people believe in goodness again. The film was a massive success, both critically and commercially. Reviewers praised her for bringing authenticity and emotional depth to a role that could have easily been overly sweet or one-dimensional. At just 14, she captured the spirit of Walt Disney's vision better than anyone before her, a symbol of hope and light in an often cynical world. Her extraordinary performance earned her the Academy Juvenile Award, placing her among the youngest Oscar recipients in history. Overnight, Hayley Mills became Disney's brightest star, the embodiment of the studio's golden age of family entertainment. But beyond the fame and applause, something deeper was happening. Pollyanna wasn't just a film role, it was the beginning of a lifelong bond between Hayley and the Disney legacy. For millions of viewers, she became more than an actress. She became the face of childhood innocence and the promise of joy, forever etched in Hollywood history. If Pollyanna made Hayley Mills a star, The Parent Trap, 1961, made her a legend. At just 15, she took on a daring challenge that few actors her age, or any age, could handle, playing two characters at once. In the film, Hayley portrayed identical twins Susan and Sharon, separated at birth, and reunited by chance at summer camp. With her signature blend of wit, intelligence, and warmth, she brought both girls to life so convincingly that audiences often forgot they were watching just one actress. Her ability to shift seamlessly between the sharp-tongued city girl and the sweet, soft-spoken country twin was nothing short of groundbreaking. Technologically, The Parent Trap was ahead of its time. Using split-screen effects and body doubles, the film showcased not only Disney's technical innovation, but also Hayley's incredible precision. Every glance, every reaction had to be carefully timed, and she made it look effortless. The movie became an instant classic, delighting families around the world and further cementing Hayley's place in cinematic history. She didn't just carry the film, she was the film. Her humor, her timing, and her ability to play off herself made it unforgettable. The Parent Trap also marked a turning point for Hayley. It proved she was more than just Disney's Pollyanna girl. She was a serious actress with range, maturity, and a spark that couldn't be confined to one type of role. The success of the film elevated her from child star to global phenomenon, and forever tied her name to one of the most beloved family films ever made. As the 1960s rolled on, Hayley Mills found herself standing at a crossroads familiar to many young stars. The struggle to grow up in front of an audience that wanted her to stay the same. After years of being Hollywood's picture of innocence, she was ready to prove that she was more than a Disney darling. Her opportunity came with The Family Way, 1966, a daring film that marked her transition into adult roles. The movie's themes, love, marriage, and intimacy, were a stark contrast to the cheerful adventures that had defined her early career. For the first time, audiences saw Hayley not as the bright-eyed child of Pollyanna or the mischievous twin from The Parent Trap, but as a mature, introspective young woman grappling with real, adult emotions. Critics were surprised by her depth and subtlety. Gone was the scripted sweetness. In its place stood a thoughtful actress unafraid to take risks. The Family Way also carried a personal significance, not just professionally, but emotionally. It was during the filming of this project that she met director Roy Bolting, a man who would change her life in more ways than one. This period wasn't easy. Audiences who had grown up with her struggled to accept her evolution, and the transition from child fame to adult respect was fraught with scrutiny. But Hayley pushed forward, determined to define herself on her own terms. Through courage and reinvention, she showed that growing up didn't mean losing innocence. It meant transforming it into wisdom. And in doing so, Hayley Mills proved she wasn't just a star made by Disney, she was an artist shaped by experience. While filming The Family Way in 1966, Hayley Mills's personal life took a dramatic turn that shocked both fans and the press. At just 20 years old, she fell in love with her 53-year-old director, Roy Bolting, a respected filmmaker and a man more than 3 decades her senior. Their relationship quickly became one of the most talked-about romances in British entertainment. To the public, Hayley was still the innocent Disney sweetheart, the forever smiling girl from Pollyanna and The Parent Trap. Seeing her with a man old enough to be her father caused an uproar. But for Hayley, it wasn't scandal. It was liberation. She found in Bolting a mentor, a partner, and someone who treated her as an equal rather than as a child star. He admired her independence and intelligence, and she was drawn to his creative mind and worldly confidence. In him, she found the stability and sophistication she'd longed for as she tried to shed her little girl image. The pair married in 1971 when Hayley was 25 and Bolting 58. They built an unconventional but comfortable life between their Chelsea flat and a picturesque countryside windmill home in Buckinghamshire. Together they had a son, Crispian Mills, who would later rise to fame as the frontman of the 1990s Britpop band Kula Shaker. Despite their bond, the vast age difference and conflicting priorities eventually took their toll. By 1977, the marriage had ended in divorce. Still, Hayley later reflected on the relationship with gratitude, seeing it as a vital chapter of her self-discovery, marking the end of her child star years and the beginning of her life as a woman defining herself on her own terms. After her marriage to Roy Bolting ended, Hayley Mills stepped into a new chapter, one defined by resilience, motherhood, and rediscovery. Though her fame had begun in front of the cameras, her true growth came from the life she built away from them. In the mid-1970s, Hayley found love again with British actor Lee Lawson, a rising star in film and television. Their relationship was full of artistic chemistry and mutual respect, and in 1976 they welcomed a son, Jason Lawson. It was a period of warmth and renewal for Hayley, who was balancing her growing family with her ongoing career. However, as often happens in show business, conflicting schedules and demanding projects strained their relationship. By the early 1980s, the couple amicably separated, choosing friendship and shared parenting over resentment. Despite the heartbreak, Hayley remained devoted to her children, guiding them with the same balance of discipline and creativity that her own parents had shown her. Her career continued steadily across film, television, and theater, where she earned a reputation for her professionalism and quiet strength. In 2000, she was honored with the Disney Legends Award, recognizing her lasting contribution to the studio's golden age. But perhaps one of the most defining parts of her later life came in 1997, when she met actor and writer Firdous Bomji during a stage tour of The King and I. Despite their 20-year age gap, their connection was immediate and enduring. They've been together ever since, a partnership built on mutual respect, creativity, and a shared love of storytelling. Now, decades after her Disney debut, Hayley Mills continues to live life on her own terms, not as the little girl who smiled through the screen, but as a woman who found peace in love, family, and the art that shaped her from the very beginning. It was 1961, and 14-year-old Hayley Mills had just stepped onto the set of The Parent Trap, unaware that she was about to share the screen with one of Hollywood's most powerful and unforgettable women, Maureen O'Hara. For Hayley, still shy and new to the intensity of Hollywood, Maureen was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. Towering in presence with her fiery red hair, commanding voice, and effortless poise, O'Hara was already a seasoned legend. Known for classics like The Quiet Man and How Green Was My Valley, she carried herself with a confidence that demanded respect, not through arrogance but through undeniable authority. "I was terribly shy," Hayley would later admit, and here was this magnificent woman who filled a room just by walking into it. At first, the young actress found O'Hara's directness daunting. She had a reputation for being firm, uncompromising, and exacting, traits that some mistook for severity. But as filming went on, Hayley began to see another side. Behind that iron will was a woman of remarkable kindness and integrity. Maureen expected the best from everyone, regardless of age or experience, but she also offered quiet encouragement when it was needed most. She treated Hayley not like a child, but like a fellow professional, something that left a deep impression on her. Their dynamic on screen, mother and daughter finding their way back to one another, mirrored their off-screen relationship in many ways. What began as respectful distance gradually turned into genuine warmth and mutual admiration. And for Hayley Mills, meeting Maureen O'Hara wasn't just another acting experience. It was a masterclass in strength, grace, and the art of commanding presence without ever raising your voice. After years of silence, Hayley Mills finally opened up about the real Maureen O'Hara, and her words paint a portrait very different from the fiery diva that Hollywood gossip once described. "She was a force of nature," Hayley said. "Strong, direct, utterly professional, but underneath it all, there was great warmth. O'Hara wasn't the type to sugarcoat or flatter. She believed in hard work, preparation, and respect for the craft. Whether you were 14 or 40, she expected your best. But that high standard wasn't rooted in arrogance. It came from love for the art and respect for everyone who helped bring it to life." At first, Hayley had been nervous around her, intimidated by her confidence and authority, but over time, that fear turned into deep admiration. Between takes, O'Hara would pull her aside, share stories from her early days in Ireland, or quietly offer words of wisdom that Hayley would carry for decades. One lesson stood out more than any other. "You have to know who you are, Hayley, before the world tells you who to be." It was a line O'Hara said casually, but it struck something profound in the young actress. At the time, she didn't fully grasp its meaning, but as the years passed, those words became her compass, guiding her through fame, heartbreak, and reinvention. Hayley also revealed that O'Hara's strength often came at a price. In a male-dominated industry, she had to fight twice as hard to earn the same respect freely given to men. People mistook her strength for arrogance, Hayley reflected. But it was survival. She refused to be diminished, and that's what I came to love most about her. What the world saw as fiery temper was, in truth, unwavering integrity, and Hayley Mills would spend the rest of her life honoring that example. As Hayley Mills looks back today, her memories of Maureen O'Hara are filled with affection, gratitude, and a touch of wistful nostalgia. More than 6 decades after The Parent Trap, the lessons O'Hara taught her still echo through her life. Lessons about courage, dignity, and knowing your worth in a world that often tries to define you. "She wasn't just a co-star," Hayley said softly. "She was a mentor, a protector, and a friend." O'Hara's presence on set went beyond acting. She was the heartbeat of the production, confident, commanding, yet deeply human. Hayley recalls how, before a difficult scene, O'Hara would give her a reassuring smile or place a gentle hand on her shoulder and whisper, "You've got this, darling." It was small gestures like that which made the young actress feel safe and seen. When Maureen O'Hara passed away in 2015, Hayley felt an irreplaceable loss, not just of a colleague, but of an era. It was like losing a piece of old Hollywood, she said, the kind of grace and strength that doesn't exist anymore. Now, every time she watches The Parent Trap, she finds herself transported back to those days, to the laughter between takes, the stories O'Hara shared about her adventures with John Wayne, and the quiet mentorship that shaped her both as an actress and as a woman. For Hayley Mills, Maureen O'Hara wasn't just a star of the silver screen. She was the embodiment of timeless strength, kindness, and artistry. Working with her, Hayley concluded, was one of the greatest gifts of my life. For decades, the relationship between Hayley Mills and Maureen O'Hara has fascinated fans, not because of gossip or on-set drama, but because of the rare and genuine connection they shared. In a world often defined by ego and competition, theirs was a relationship built on mutual respect, quiet mentorship, and emotional truth. When they first met, Hayley was barely a teenager, shy, impressionable, and still adjusting to the weight of sudden fame. Maureen, in contrast, was a powerhouse, confident, worldly, and already a Hollywood icon. At first glance, they seemed worlds apart. Yet, as filming went on, something beautiful unfolded between them. O'Hara took the young actress under her wing, not with grand gestures, but through subtle, meaningful moments. A nod of approval after a good take, a kind word when nerves set in, or a story shared over lunch that carried a hidden life lesson. She didn't treat Hayley as a child to be guided, but as a young artist to be shaped. It was mentorship without pretense, kindness without sentimentality. For Hayley, this connection became transformative. O'Hara modeled a kind of strength she'd never seen before, a woman who could command respect in a man's world without ever compromising her principles. Watching Maureen work, Hayley learned that real power didn't come from dominance, but from integrity, preparation, and unwavering self-belief. Their bond extended far beyond The Parent Trap. In the years that followed, Hayley often spoke of O'Hara not just as a co-star, but as a moral compass, someone whose example taught her how to navigate fame with grace and independence. Even after Maureen's passing, Hayley carries that influence with her. "She showed me what it means to stand tall," Hayley once said, not just as an actress, but as a woman. Theirs was a connection that transcended generations, a passing of the torch from one era of Hollywood to the next. Maureen O'Hara embodied the fire and fearlessness of the Golden Age, while Hayley Mills carried that same flame into a new world, softer but no less strong. And though their time together was brief in years, its impact has lasted a lifetime. Two women, one seasoned, one still becoming, united not by fame, but by the shared belief that authenticity, courage, and kindness are the true measures of greatness. As Hayley Mills reflects on her life, it's clear that her story is not just one of fame. It's one of quiet strength, reinvention, and gratitude. From a shy child surrounded by scripts and stage lights to a woman who carved her own place in cinema's history, every chapter of her journey carries the mark of resilience. But among all the people who shaped her, none left a deeper imprint than Maureen O'Hara. Their connection wasn't built on Hollywood glamour, it was built on truth. When they met on The Parent Trap, Hayley was a timid 14-year-old still learning who she was, while Maureen stood tall as a symbol of classic Hollywood, confident, commanding, and unshakably authentic. To many, their pairing was simply mother and daughter on screen. But to Hayley, Maureen became something far greater, a mentor, a mirror, and a quiet guide through the chaos of early fame. O'Hara taught her that kindness and power could coexist, that a woman didn't need to shout to be heard, only to stand firmly in who she was. She showed Hayley that grace under pressure was not weakness, but mastery. And in those small moments between takes, a shared laugh, a whispered word of encouragement, a reassuring hand on her shoulder, O'Hara gave Hayley lessons no acting school could ever teach. Decades later, Hayley still carries those lessons. The confidence she exudes, the humility she maintains, and the balance between compassion and conviction all trace back to the fiery Irish actress who once told her, "Know who you are before the world tells you who to be." When Maureen O'Hara passed away in 2015, Hayley described it as losing a piece of old Hollywood, time when elegance was strength and dignity was non-negotiable. Yet through her memories, that era lives on. Every time she watches The Parent Trap, she sees not just a film, but a reflection of the bond that shaped her. Two women from different worlds, united by art, respect, and something profoundly human. And so, as Hayley Mills finally tells her truth, she does so not with sadness, but with gratitude. Because in Maureen O'Hara, she didn't just find a co-star, she found the embodiment of everything she aspired to become. Steadfast, kind, and eternally true to herself. Their time together was brief in years, but endless in influence. A legacy of grace that continues to shine long after the cameras stopped rolling.